Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really detailed look at something lots of us face, navigating a restaurant in English. And we're aiming to go way beyond just those basic survival phrases you find in like tourist guides.
Right.
Our mission today really is to build a proper fluency strategy, something that makes the whole dining experience, better.
Yeah, that's the crucial bit, isn't it? And our source material, it really breaks this down. It talks about a kind of two-part journey, two very different goals with language.
Okay.
So we're not just, listing vocabulary.
Right.
It's more of a framework we're providing.
Right, a framework. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Level 1. This sounds like it aligns with, A2B1 level?
Exactly. That's the level. We're calling it the functional toolkit.
The functional toolkit.
Yeah, it's the foundation, the absolute bedrock. And the goal here is pretty straightforward, actually.
We should.
Just getting rid of that communication anxiety,
Yeah.
Being able to confidently do the basics, the transaction.
Transaction meaning get a table, order your food, pay the bill.
Precisely. Without confusion, without stress. Function is absolutely priority 1 at this level.
Makes sense. If you can do that confidently, you feel better. The staff aren't confused.
Exactly. It smooths everything out. But then, for the real deep dive part, we need to shift gears. Quite dramatically, actually.
Okay.
Into level 2. This is the C1 Advanced Mastery level.
Ah, C1. So this is different.
Completely different objective. It stops being about just, completing the transaction.
Right.
It becomes about social strategy, using nuance, understanding the culture. The goal at C1 is more about strategically shaping the dining experience.
Shaping it. How do you mean?
Shaping it to maximize your own satisfaction, building a bit of rapport. It's much more active.
Okay, so if A to B1 is just get food, pay bill, C1 is more like curating the whole thing.
That's a great way to put it. Curating. You're actively managing the social side, the physical space.
Like trying to get the best table, maybe?
Exactly. Or interacting with the server or the sommelier in a way that signals, you're a guest, they appreciate someone who gets it.
So you become part of the, what did you call it? The social ballet.
The social ballet, yeah. Not just a passive customer waiting for service.
I like that. Okay, so that's the mission for you, our listener, today then.
That's the mission.
Right.
Moving from just functional communication to being, a linguistic strategist at the table.
Using language to dance that social dance.
Mastering the nuances for a better experience overall. That's the real payoff of hitting C1 territory in this context.
Competence to curation. Love it. But, okay, first things first. We need that solid foundation.
Absolutely.
So let's start with those non-negotiables. The A2B1 confidence builders. Where do we begin?
Right at the start. The second you walk in the door, that first interaction, it really sets the tone.
Okay, who am I looking for?
You're looking for the staff member who's usually near the entrance, often at a little desk or stand, sometimes called the host stand or reception.
The host stand. Got it. The gatekeeper.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And, host is the good neutral term these days.
Yeah.
But identifying the place, the host stand, and the role is key.
Right. And before I even open my mouth, you mentioned something nonverbal.
Yes. This is honestly almost more powerful than any phrase initially. Make eye contact.
Yeah.
And offer a warm, genuine smile.
Simple but effective.
Incredibly effective. It's a psychological opener. That warmth, that approachability, it just cuts through any potential awkwardness.
It signals, I'm friendly, I'm happy to be here.
Exactly. It makes the staff want to help you. It lowers that initial anxiety barrier for everyone.
Okay, so I've smiled, made eye contact. Now what? The core phrase.
Now, the linguistic anchor, yes. The most efficient, polite, universally understood way to ask. Keep it short and sweet.
Which is?
A table for number, please.
That's it. A table for 4, please.
That's it. Or a table for 1, please, if you're dining solo. Simple, adaptable, no need for extra words at this stage.
And the beauty is its consistency, right? You don't need 10 ways to ask.
Precisely. And that word, please, we have to stress this.
Ah, yes. Crucial.
Absolutely non-negotiable at A2B1. Without it, table for 4 sounds like a demand.
Right. A bit blunt.
But add please, and instantly, it's a smooth, courteous request. It changes everything about how it's received.
And if they have a table ready, what do I listen for?
You'll hear positive cue phrases, things like, right this way, or perhaps, certainly, follow me, please.
Okay. And that means success. Level 1 initiation complete. I'm in.
You're in the physical space, yes. Now, sometimes it's not that simple, especially busy times.
Ah, the dreaded wait. Or needing a reservation.
Exactly. Planning ahead, you need the vocabulary reservation that's very common in American English.
Or booking elsewhere.
Or booking, yes. More common outside the U.S. Definitely a good idea for, say, a Friday night.
So the host might ask.
The essential question, do you have a reservation or do you have a booking?
Okay. Yes.
You confirm clearly, but you need the specific phrasing they're listening for.
Which is?
Yes, I do. The reservation is under the name, your name.
Under the name. That's the key phrase.
That's what they need to find you quickly in their system. They're filtering for under the name.
Okay. And if I don't have one?
Keep it simple and direct again. No, we don't.
No need for excuses or long stories?
Absolutely not. At the functional level, just no, we don't. It's perfectly fine. Clear and concise.
Right. But then comes the possibility of the wait.
Yes. If they're busy, you'll encounter the wait. That just means no free tables right now.
And they'll give me a time.
Usually an estimate. You need to understand phrases like the wait is about 20 minutes or maybe it'll be approximately half an hour.
Okay. Understanding the estimate is key. Then I have choices.
2 clear, graceful A to B1 options. Option 1, you accept.
How do I say that?
Just, okay, we'll wait. Thank you. Simple, polite.
Option 2, I decide not to wait.
Decline politely. Something like, oh, I see. Okay, thank you anyway. Maybe another time. Goodbye.
Clean exit, no drama.
Exactly. Leaves a good impression, keeps the door open for next time.
Okay, so let's assume I've got a table either straight away or after waiting. I'm seated. Now what?
Now you're interacting with your server. And remember, the term server is great. It's gender neutral, professional.
Safer than guessing waiter or waitress.
It's definitely safer and increasingly standard. Always a respectful choice.
Right. So the server brings the menu, time for the next, linguistic anchor, ordering.
Yes. And again, consistency is your friend here. Master 1 or 2 reliable phrases.
What's the gold standard?
I would like item, please. Which naturally contracts to I'd like.
I'd like versatile.
Very. I'd like the house red wine, please. Then maybe, and I'd like the chicken salad, please. It works for everything.
Is there an alternative that's just as good?
Yes. Can I have item, please? Is equally common and polite. Can I have the soup, please? Flawless.
So the main point for the learner is pick one, like I'd like, and stick with it.
Exactly. Don't feel you need loads of different ways to say the same thing at this functional stage. Clarity and politeness are the goals.
Got it. Food arrives. I eat it. It's lovely. Now, payment.
Time to settle up. Now, remember that vocabulary quirk?
Right. Check in American English.
And bill in British English. Good to know which to use.
But first, I need to get their attention. How do I do that without, yelling?
Subtlety is key. No shouting, definitely no finger snapping.
Okay, so what do I do?
Use nonverbal cues. Catch their eye. A slight nod when they look over. Maybe a slightly raised hand, palm open, not waving frantically.
Gentle signals?
Gentle, respectful signals.
Yeah.
Once you have their attention, then you make the request.
Which is it?
Short, direct, courteous. The bill, please, or the check, please.
Or slightly longer?
You could say, excuse me, can we have the check, please?
Yeah.
That's also perfectly fine, a bit more formal, perhaps.
Okay. Payment handled. Almost done. The exit.
The graceful exit. Important to close the loop positively.
It's just a thank you.
A quick, sincere thank you is great. Maybe to the server or the host on your way out. Something like, thank you, that was lovely, or everything was delicious. Goodbye.
Ends it on a nice note.
Exactly. High appreciative note completes the transaction smoothly.
Perfect. So that whole sequence covers the A to B1 functional toolkit. Arrival, waiting, ordering, paying, leaving. All done functionally and without stress.
That's the core of it, yes. Confidence and clarity for the essential transaction.
But now we flick the switch, right?
Now we flip the switch.
Yeah.
Big pivot. We leave the purely functional behind.
And move into?
Strategic performance. The C1 level, where fluency isn't just about being understood. It's about optimizing the whole experience. Performance.
The social ballet.
Exactly. C1 fluency means the focus shifts totally. It's not just what you say for clarity, but how you say it for strategic effect.
Okay.
Thinking about cultural weight, the power of your words to shape things, to curate a better, more well-sophisticated experience.
Right. So let's revisit making that reservation, but with this C1 mindset. How does it change?
Well, you start using linguistic softeners, these signal flexibility, courtesy. They make you sound like the kind of guest the restaurant wants.
Okay, give me an example. A2 was maybe, I want a table for 2 at 8. Functional, but...
A bit blunt, potentially demanding. The C1 approach is softer, more accommodating.
Like?
You might say, I was hoping to book a table. See, I was hoping already sounds less demanding.
Okay, I was hoping to book a table.
Perhaps around 8. Perhaps around shows you're flexible, you understand they might be busy. You're not rigidly insisting on 8.0 sharp.
Ah, I see. It implies you understand their constraints. It's polite negotiation from the start.
Exactly. You're politely reducing the perceived imposition of your request.
And C1 isn't just about the time, is it? You mentioned curating the space.
Right. You move beyond just passively accepting whatever table they lead you to.
So I can ask for specific things?
Politely, yes. You can ask for, say, a table with a view, if that's important. Or if you want privacy, maybe a quiet nook.
A nook? Using a word like that probably signals something too, doesn't it?
It does. It subtly signals you're a more discerning diner, someone who thinks about the ambiance. Or you might ask, do you happen to have any booths available? It shows preference.
Okay. This is already feeling more strategic. What about special occasions? How does C1 handle that?
Ah, great question. This is pure social maneuvering. You don't bluntly demand a free cake.
Right. Definitely not. So
Instead, you mention the anniversary or the birthday sort of in passing when you're confirming the booking or checking in.
how would that sound?
You might say to the host, yes, reservation for 4 under Smith. Oh, and I should probably just mention, purely so you're aware, we're actually celebrating a quiet anniversary this evening.
Ah, purely so you're aware. Very subtle.
It's strategic information dropping. You're not asking for anything directly, but you're priming the staff
Priming them for.
to maybe offer a slightly better table or perhaps be a bit more attentive, maybe offer complimentary coffees later. It creates the possibility without direct request. Anticipatory service management.
Okay, that's clever. Now, the really tricky one, you get shown to a bad table. The one by the noisy kitchen door or the main pathway.
The dreaded thoroughfare, yes.
Yeah.
This is where C1 diplomacy is absolutely essential.
Rule number 1.
Never, ever directly criticize the table. Don't say, this table is terrible.
Okay, so what do? I need diplomatic language.
Yes. You prioritize complimenting something first, then frame your need as practical, not as a complaint about the table itself.
Example, say I want somewhere less exposed.
You could try. This table looks lovely, thank you. For our conversation tonight, though, we were sort of hoping for a spot that's perhaps a little less conspicuous.
Less conspicuous,
Yeah.
nice. Avoid saying everyone is staring at us.
Exactly. Or if it's noisy, frame it around needing to talk. Wow, the atmosphere in here is fantastic. I wonder, though, if it might be possible to find a spot with slightly better acoustics. We have a lot to catch up on tonight.
Again, focusing on the purpose of the visit conversation, not the fault of the table noise.
Precisely. It sounds reasonable, considerate, not just fussy.
Okay, now give me the peak C1 maneuver you mentioned, framing my need for space as consideration for others.
Ah, yes, this is top-tier social strategy. Let's say the tables are very close together. You could say, this looks nice, but I just wonder, might there be a table with a little more separation? We tend to get into quite lively discussions, and we'd hate to, impose on our neighbor's conversation.
Brilliant. I'm asking for more space for myself, but I'm pretending it's because I'm worried about bothering them.
Exactly. The server hears thoughtful, considerate guest, not demanding guest who wants more elbow room. High-level stuff.
Okay, wow, that's definitely advanced. So now I'm at my hopefully better table. How does C1 change the interaction with the server?
It becomes relational, not just transactional. You treat the server as a person.
Ow.
A simple but powerful thing.
Okay.
If they introduce themselves, hi, I'm Daniel, I'll be looking after you. Use their name immediately back.
So just, thanks, Daniel, nice to meet you.
Exactly that. It's small, subtle, but it instantly personalizes the interaction. It shifts the dynamic.
It's a human connection. Daniel is maybe less likely to see me as just table 12.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And then you follow up, not just with orders, but with intelligent inquiry. Asking proactive questions, show curiosity, and crucially, show you appreciate their expertise.
Like asking about specials.
Yes, but the timing is key for C1. Ask about specials before you even properly look at the menu or the wine list.
How would that sound?
You could lean in slightly and say, Daniel, before we dive into the menu properly, could you perhaps tell us if the chef has any specials this evening? We always love to hear what's particularly fresh or interesting.
Ah, I see. That positions the server as the expert, the insider, right away.
Exactly. It signals you're an engaged, interested diner. It sets a great tone for the service to come.
Okay, this is fascinating. Let's actually dive into that menu now, but with C1 eyes. You said it's like persuasive writing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At this level, a menu isn't just a list. It's a narrative. It's telling a story about quality, skill, and justifying the price point. We need to decode the subtext.
Subtext in words like artisanal, what does that really signal?
Artisanal implies much more than just handmade. It suggests intense care, maybe traditional methods, small batches, fundamentally higher quality ingredients and more labor.
So the opposite of mass-produced signals premium.
Precisely. And look for heritage or heirloom. You see this with vegetables, sometimes meats.
What's the story there?
It suggests older, traditional varieties, chosen for flavor complexity, maybe depth, authenticity, not just for yield or how well they ship. It signals they're investing in taste over commercial efficiency.
Right. And provenance, that just means where it's from, doesn't it?
It does, but when a menu specifically highlights provenance, beef from Willow Creek Farm, say it's making a statement.
A statement about
Meticulous sourcing, transparency, quality control. It's the heart of that whole farm-to-table idea. They want you to know they care about the source.
Okay. What about a word like foraged? That sounds
That's
quite
it.
specific.
Very specific. Forage signals rarity, seasonality, a direct link to the wild. Think wilds, mushrooms, ramps, maybe certain berries.
Things that are hard to get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Often requires expert knowledge, time-consuming to gather. So seeing foraged immediately signals exclusivity, effort, and usually a higher price justified by that scarcity and effort.
Makes sense. Okay, shifting from sourcing to technique, C1 diners notice how things are cooked too, right? What about deconstructed? What's that telling, though?
Deconstructed signals modern technique, innovation. The chef is taking a familiar dish, say a Black Forest gâteau, and presenting its core elements separately, maybe in unexpected forms.
So it says I know the classic, but I'm playing with it.
Exactly. I understand tradition, but I'm applying modern, maybe even intellectual technique.
And sous vide. That sounds technical. French for under vacuum. Why mention it?
Because it promises something specific. Incredible precision and consistency, especially with proteins.
How so?
Cooking in that temperature-controlled water bath gives edge-to-edge perfection. Perfectly cooked, tender, juicy, no overcooked edges, no dry bits. It signals the kitchen prioritizes technical mastery over speed.
So a C1 diner might even comment on that.
Oh, absolutely. You might say, I see the duck breast is sous vide. Is it finished with a hard sear afterwards for the skin? Shows informed engagement.
Right. And we also see those evocative verbs. Pan-seared, blanched, cured. They're all painting a picture.
They are. Pan-seared promises that crisp crust. Blanched suggests vegetables will retain crispness and bright color. Cured implies complex, concentrated flavor and altered texture.
So understanding these lets you read the story the chef is trying to tell about care, quality, skill.
Exactly. It allows you to appreciate the choices being made in the kitchen. And that understanding naturally leads into how you order at a C1 level.
Which isn't just stating what you want, it's more of a conversation.
A polite interrogation, maybe. You're not just requesting, you're asking smart questions that show appreciation and a discerning palate.
Okay, walk me through it. Let's say the server describes the fish special, maybe sea bass with a lemon butter sauce. How does C1 me respond?
First, acknowledge the description positively. Oh, that sounds absolutely exquisite, thank you. Maybe add, I'm trying to decide between that and the risotto. Creates context.
Then the question.
And drill down into the details you care about, if richness is a concern. You mentioned a lemon butter sauce. Is it quite rich and heavy, or is it perhaps more of a light emulsion?
Using terms like emulsion. Okay, or if I care about texture.
Since it's pan-seared, does it develop a really nice crisp skin? You're asking about balance, texture, technical execution. It shows you're thinking like someone who understands food.
Right. Now, special requests, big C1 area. Asking for substitutions or changes. The key is
acknowledging the imposition. You must use language that shows you understand you're asking them to deviate, to do extra work.
Cushion the request.
Cushion it heavily. Use peak politeness. I was wondering, would it be terribly difficult to perhaps substitute the fries for the side salad instead?
Would it be terribly difficult? That's apologizing for asking almost.
It is. Or would it be an awful imposition to ask if I could possibly get the sauce served on the side? You're framing it as a significant favor you're asking for.
And that makes them more likely to say yes happily.
Much more likely.
Yeah.
You've acknowledged the extra effort involved through your language. It's a social contract thing.
Okay. What about dietary needs, allergies and things? How does C1 approach that? It's serious.
Very serious. And the strategy here is collaboration, not confrontation. You need to frame the server as your guide to safety.
So instead of, I'm allergic to nuts, make sure there are none.
The C1 approach is more like, I should probably mention, I actually have quite a serious nut allergy. I know how busy kitchens can be, but could you possibly advise me on which dishes would be inherently safest? Or perhaps check with the chef if there's a risk of cross-contamination on something like the grilled fish.
Ah, you're making them the expert partner in keeping you safe. Much less confrontational.
Exactly. Collaboration. Now let's talk complaints. Things do sometimes go wrong.
The steak is overcooked, the soup is cold. What's the C1 strategy?
Always, always start soft. Use gentle opening phrases.
Like,
Excuse me, I'm so sorry to trouble you, but that immediately lowers the temperature.
okay, soft opener, then what?
Use subjective, qualifying language. Never state a problem as an absolute fact.
So not, this steak is tough.
No. Instead, I'm finding my steak is perhaps a little more chewy than I expected. Or, this soup isn't quite as warm as I might have hoped. I wonder if it could be heated up.
Using finding, perhaps a little, might have hoped, softens the blow, makes it about my perception.
Precisely. It removes blame, invites a solution rather than defensiveness.
What if the order's just plain wrong? They bring fish, I ordered chicken.
Frame it as a potential misunderstanding, never an error. Excuse me.
Oh.
I think there might possibly have been a slight misunderstanding. I thought I'd actually ordered the chicken dish.
Slight misunderstanding, again, no blame, allows them to fix it easily.
Exactly. Face saving for everyone. Finally, under C1 interactions, controlling the pace.
If things feel rushed.
You need an elegant instruction. Not slow down, but maybe. Everything is wonderful, thank you. We're actually in absolutely no rush this evening, and we'd love to really savor everything, so please feel free to just pace the courses out quite leisurely for us.
Sounds appreciative, but gets the message across.
That's the goal. Now let's talk about the language of appreciation itself, going beyond just delicious.
The connoisseur's lexicon.
Yes, using richer vocabulary signals deeper engagement and appreciation to the staff, especially the chef, if the feedback gets passed on.
Okay, so for something really well made, balanced.
You might use exquisite. The balance of flavors in that sauce was exquisite.
And if something is truly outstanding, like next level,
You could use sublime. That dessert was simply sublime. It suggests transcendence, almost perfection.
what if a dish was clearly very complex and difficult, but they pulled it off?
You might call it a triumph. Getting that souffle so light yet stable, a real triumph, acknowledges the skill involved.
Okay, moving beyond overall quality to specific flavors, instead of just sharp.
You could use pecan or zesty, especially for bright, acidic, maybe citrusy notes.
And for deep, strong flavors.
Robust. A really robust flavor in that stew.
Yeah.
Suggests fullness, depth.
And praising subtlety, is that a C1 thing?
Oh, definitely. Noticing faint notes shows a refined palate. There's just a subtle hint of star and eyes in the background, which was fascinating.
Right. Now, texture. You called this advanced territory. Mouthfeel.
Yes. For something incredibly smooth, creamy, lush.
Like a perfect puree or a rich sauce.
You'd use velvety. The cauliflower puree was absolutely velvety.
Okay. And that tricky word, unctuous. You said it's a compliment in food.
It is. It can sound negative otherwise, but in food, unctuous is high praise.
Yeah.
It describes a luxurious, rich, satisfying texture, often from well-rendered fats or slow cooking.
Like perfectly braised short ribs, maybe?
Exactly. It signals skilled richness, depth of flavor, a satisfying mouthfeel, not just greasy.
Got it. And for the opposite, really light things.
For something incredibly light, airy, delicate like a mousse or that perfect souffle, again, you could even use ethereal.
Wow, ethereal. Okay. Using these words definitely signals you're not just saying, it was nice.
It signals you're engaging with the food on a level similar to how chefs and serious food writers think and talk about it.
Okay, huge topic switch. Wine. Interacting with the sommelier, ordering wine at a C1 level. How does that work?
It involves using slightly more technical language to express preferences, especially around structure for reds.
The structure meaning.
Things like body and tannins. If you like powerful wines, you don't just say a strong red.
What do you say?
You'd ask for something full-bodied and robust, maybe adding with noticeable tannins. That signals you want intensity.
And if I prefer smoother, less intense reds?
You'd ask for something a bit lighter on the palate, or perhaps specify with softer tannins.
Okay. And for white wines, is it still about body?
Less so. For whites, it's more about the flavor profile and often whether it's seen oak.
So if I want something sharp and refreshing,
You'd ask for something crisp and zesty, perhaps adding with good minerality. That usually points towards unoaked, high-acid styles.
and if I like richer, creamier whites.
You talk about wanting more complexity, maybe a slightly buttery texture, which signals you're open to, or prefer wines with some oak influence.
Right. Now, the really delicate C1 maneuver, budget. How do I tell the sommelier my price range without actually saying I only want to spend $50?
The elegant nonverbal cue. This avoids all potential awkwardness.
How does it work?
It's pure strategy. You scan the list, find a wine that's roughly in the middle of your comfortable price range, then you point discreetly to that wine.
Okay.
And you ask the sommelier, could you perhaps tell me a little bit about this one? What sort of food would you pair it with?
You're not saying you want that wine. You're using it as a price anchor.
Exactly. A skilled sommelier reads that signal instantly. They understand you've just non-verbally indicated your price ballpark.
And their subsequent suggestions will hover around that price.
Magically, yes. They'll cluster recommendations near that point without you ever having to mention money. Very smooth, very C1.
Okay, that's genuinely useful. What about the tasting ritual when they pour that little bit in the glass?
Huge point of confusion for many learners. Let's be crystal clear. You are checking for one thing, and one thing only.
Which is?
Is the wine faulty? Specifically, is it corked? Does it have TCA contamination?
What does that smell like?
Damp cardboard, musty cellar, sometimes like wet dog. It's a specific fault.
So I am not checking if I personally like the flavor.
Absolutely not. This isn't the time to decide if you prefer raspberry notes over cherry. It's purely a technical check for faults.
So if it smells clean, even if it's not my favorite style.
A simple nod, a quiet, "That's lovely, thank you," is the signal. That means pour for the table.
And if I do suspect a fault, how do I handle that at C1 level?
You use polite, slightly technical, objective language. Show deference.
Like?
I'm so sorry, but I wonder if I might be detecting just a faint hint of TCA here. Would you mind possibly double-checking the bottle for me?
Polite, diagnostic, not accusatory.
Exactly. You're suggesting a specific fault, which shows you know what you're talking about, and it prompts them to take it seriously and check properly.
Okay. Phew. Wine navigated, meals finished, time for the bill again, but the C1 version.
Right. Subtle cues are good. Folding your napkin neatly on the table can be a signal. Catching the server's eye again.
And verbally, instead of just, check, please.
A slightly softer phrasing works well. Whenever you have a moment, we'd be ready to settle up. Or simply, could we have the check whenever you're free?
Okay. Now, the payment itself. You mentioned a payment dance, especially with guests.
Yes, this is a crucial social ritual in many English-speaking cultures. If one person intends to pay for the group,
But he just stated clearly.
and preemptively. As the bill arrives, the payer says firmly, "Let me get this," or no, this one's on me.
Okay. And the guest's role.
The guest has a social obligation to offer a mild protest. It maintains the balance.
So they should say, oh, are you sure we can split it, or something similar?
Exactly. Even if they know the host will insist, it's part of the expected script.
And the payer then?
Must insist, firmly but graciously. Absolutely, I insist. It was my pleasure. And then, the crucial phrase to complete the reciprocity loop.
Which is?
You absolutely must let me get the next one.
That balances the social scales. It acknowledges the debt and promises it will be repaid.
Precisely. It maintains the relationship smoothly. Very important social convention.
Okay. Nearly there. Final look at the bill itself. Tipping, gratuity, what are the key phrases?
Read carefully. Service charge included, or service comprise, means tip is already included. You generally owe nothing more.
And if it says service not included?
Then a tip is usually expected. Based on local customs, percentage varies by country.
What about that tricky one? A discretionary service charge has been added?
Discretionary technically means optional, but it's been added automatically. Removing it is socially quite awkward.
So you'd only ask to remove it if service was genuinely poor?
Pretty much. Otherwise, most people just pay it. It's designed to be slightly awkward to refuse.
Right. Okay, final step. The C1 exit.
Just offer one last, specific, positive comment on your way out. Maybe to the host or your server, if you see them.
Like.
Thank you so much again, Daniel. That was a really wonderful evening. We thoroughly enjoyed it.
Reinforces the positive connection. Ends the whole social ballet on a high.
Exactly. Perfect closing note.
Wow. Okay. So there we have it. That's quite a journey from the basic A2B1 functional toolkit,
Getting the job done.
all the way up to that C1 strategic performance. The linguistic shift, it feels huge.
It really is. It's incredible how much our specific choice of words, the phrasing, the timing, it all impacts the experience.
C1 isn't just about having more words, is it? It's about using them strategically.
Exactly. Using the right words to, well, curate the evening, build that rapport, show genuine appreciation, handle problems with grace. It just optimizes everything.
And it really changes the dynamic, doesn't it? You said it transforms the diner from just a customer
A transaction waiting to happen.
into more of a valued participant, a collaborator almost.
Yes, a discerning guest whose opinion matters, partly because of the sophisticated way they communicate it.
A linguistic strategist at the dinner table. I like that.
Which brings us, I think, to a final thought, something for you, our listener, to maybe mull over after this deep dive.
Okay.
Well, if we accept that in these C1 dining scenarios, almost every word choice can be strategic.
From the menu using provenance?
To you saying I was hoping to,
Oh, right.
or using a word like unctuous correctly.
Right. If language is being used so consciously there to tell a story or achieve an outcome,
Then how does recognizing that very conscious, strategic use of language in a restaurant, how might that change the way you interpret other kinds of persuasive communication you encounter?
like advertising, political speeches, even just emails.
Exactly. Start looking for the strategy behind the words, everywhere. How is language being used not just to inform, but to persuade, to position, to manage perceptions? The restaurant is just one very contained example of it.
Food for thought, indeed. That's a great takeaway. Thank you so much for guiding us through those 2 levels today. It's been fascinating.
My pleasure. Hopefully it gives everyone some practical tools and some deeper insights.
I'm sure it will. Hopefully making everyone's next dining experience, whether functional or strategic, just that little bit smoother and more enjoyable. The deep dive is complete. Until next time.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something we all do, but maybe not always strategically: navigating a restaurant experience in English.
Right. And we're definitely aiming higher than just, table for 2, please. We've been looking at this really comprehensive guide, a single source actually, that focuses purely on how to use language strategically in this setting.
Yeah, the idea is to give you a kind of blueprint for, well, let's call it dining mastery.
That's a good way to put it. Because this source material, it immediately splits dining fluency into 2 very different levels, 2 different strategies, really.
And getting that distinction is crucial, isn't it? Use the wrong level and you could sound, I don't know, blunt, or maybe just not very effective.
Exactly. We're calling it the fluency strategy. So level 1, that's what most people aim for initially. Think A2, maybe B1 level English.
The essential toolkit, as the guide calls it.
Precisely. The main goal there is what we'd term functional confidence. It's about getting rid of that anxiety, making sure you can handle the basic transaction.
Okay, so like getting a table, ordering your food, paying the bill, just getting by.
Getting by, exactly. Making sure the core task gets done without major issues. It's foundational.
But that's not where the real leverage is, according to this guide. Level 2, C1 and beyond. That's labeled advanced mastery.
And the goal shifts completely. It's not just a transaction anymore. It becomes about sophisticated performance, actively curating a better experience for yourself.
So moving beyond just function into something more nuanced.
Totally. Language stops being just a tool to get things done and becomes strategic. It's what the guide calls the social ballet. Every word, every phrase, your tone, it all sends signals.
Signals about what kind of guest you are.
Yeah. Signals that you're courteous, you're discerning, someone the restaurant wants to please, not just, order number 47.
Okay, I see. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack that C1 level, using the insights from this guide to show you how strategic language can genuinely make your night out better.
Exactly. Let's start right at the beginning, even before you step foot in the restaurant. Part 1. The C1 mindset, focusing on reservations.
Right. Because a basic speaker might just state what they want, but the C1 speaker, they use language differently from the get-go.
And they do. They signal flexibility and courtesy immediately. It's all about using what the guide terms linguistic softeners.
Softeners. Why are they so important right at the start?
Because if you sound demanding or difficult on that initial call, you might have already lost the chance for, say, the best table or just a smoother experience overall. It sets the tone.
Makes sense. So what does that blunt, basic request sound like?
Well, the A2B1 version might be something like, I need a table for 4 at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. It works, functionally.
But it's direct. A bit like an order.
Exactly. It can come across as demanding, almost like an ultimatum. Compare that to the C1 approach. You'd use phrases that soften it, like,
Right.
I was hoping to book a table for 4 tomorrow evening. That I was hoping to. It immediately changes the feel. It acknowledges it might not be possible.
Right, it shows you respect their situation, their availability. What about the time? You mentioned softening that too.
Yes, this is a subtle but key point in the guide. Instead of a rigid at 7:30 p.m., you might say, perhaps around 7:30.
Perhaps. Just one word.
But it does so much work. It tells the person taking the booking, look, we're flexible. If 7.5 or 7.45 is what you have, that's likely okay. It builds this initial rapport, this sense of being easy to accommodate.
And restaurants probably prefer accommodating easy guests. Okay, so that's one. But the guide also talks about where you sit, curating the physical space.
Oh, absolutely. This is moving way beyond just passively taking whatever table they give you. It requires more specific vocabulary.
So I want a good table isn't quite C1 level.
Not really. It's too vague. A C1 speaker uses terms that show they've actually thought about the kind of atmosphere they want.
Can you give some examples from the source?
Sure. Instead of just a window seat, you might ask for a table with a view. It sounds a bit more discerning if you want somewhere quiet and intimate.
Not just in the corner.
Right. You could ask for a quiet nook. That word nook itself signals a certain level of sophistication, an appreciation for ambiance. Or simply asking for a booth clearly states a preference for comfort and structure.
It's like the vocabulary is a shortcut to signaling you're a thoughtful diner.
Interesting. Now, what about mentioning special occasions, birthdays, anniversaries? People want them acknowledged, but...
But you don't want to sound like you're just demanding free cake.
Sure.
Yeah, the guide calls this a real C1 art form.
So how do you do it strategically?
The key is timing and framing. You don't lead with it. You mention it almost casually, as an aside, after the main booking details are sorted.
Okay, so time, number of people, name, get all that confirmed first.
Correct. They say, okay, that's a table for 2, Friday at 8 p.m. under Smith. Then you might add, sort of offhandedly, oh, and I should probably mention just, it's actually our 10th anniversary.
Presenting it as information, not a condition for the booking. Exactly. You've removed the implied pressure, like, give me something special or I won't come. Instead, you're giving them the opportunity to make it special.
It taps into that idea of wanting to offer a gift rather than fulfilling a demand.
Precisely. They might offer a slightly better table or a little something extra because they choose to, based on the information you politely provided. It's subtle leverage.
Very clever. Okay, let's jump forward. We've arrived. But oh dear, they're leading us to that table. You know the one, right in the main walkway.
The dreaded thoroughfare table, yes. High traffic, noisy, not ideal. This is where graceful negotiation comes in.
What's rule number 1, according to the guide?
Never, ever criticize directly. Avoid saying things like, this table's terrible, or I don't like this. It just puts everyone on the defensive.
Okay, so no direct attacks. How do you frame the request positively, or at least neutrally?
You frame it based on a practical need, or even better, frame it as consideration for others. And you use more sophisticated vocabulary.
Instead of just, it's too busy here.
You could say something like, we were hoping for a table that felt perhaps a little less conspicuous. Or, is there possibly an option that's slightly less exposed? Using words like conspicuous or exposed sounds more considered than busy.
It focuses on the feeling or the quality of the space, not just a complaint. The guide also mentioned a technique, the compliment sandwich.
Ah, yes, classic diplomacy. Start positive, state the need practically, end positive.
How would that sound?
You could start with, wow, the atmosphere in here is lovely tonight, really buzzing. Then the pivot. I wonder, though, if maybe there might be a spot with slightly better acoustics. We were really hoping to catch up properly, and it might be a little easier to chat somewhere slightly quieter.
Acoustics. So you make it about the function of conversation, not just that you don't like the location. That's smart. You sound reasonable, not just picky.
Exactly. You give them a practical problem to solve, finding better acoustics rather than just complaining about the table itself.
What about if the tables are just too close together? That elbow-to-elbow feeling.
The ultimate C1 move here, according to the source, is to frame your desire for space as concern for the other diners.
Seriously? How does that work?
You might say something like, this looks like a lovely table, thank you. I just wonder, might there be a spot with a touch more separation? We'd hate to feel like we're imposing on our neighbor's conversation.
So you get more space for yourself by pretending you're worried about bothering them.
It's peak C1 social maneuvering. You achieve your goal while appearing incredibly considerate. It's all about packaging your preference thoughtfully.
Brilliant. Okay, table sorted. The server approaches. Now we're into part 2, building rapport.
And this is where the C1 mindset really shifts from transaction to relation. The goal is to connect with the server as a person.
Not just as someone taking the order.
Exactly. And the first, incredibly simple but effective technique.
Yeah.
Use their name immediately.
So if they say, "Hi, I'm Daniel, I'll be looking after you."
Your C1 response is right back with, "Thanks, Daniel, nice to meet you," or "Great, Daniel, thank you."
Why does that seemingly small thing make such a difference?
It's about recognition. In a busy service environment, acknowledging them by name instantly humanizes the interaction. They feel seen. A server who feels respected is much more likely to provide great service. It's a tiny investment that can pay off all evening.
Okay, it sets a collaborative tone right away. Beyond the name, the guide talks about proactive questioning, intelligent inquiry.
Yes. Don't just sit there passively waiting to order drinks. Show some engagement before that. The classic C1 move, asking about specials that aren't printed on the menu.
Why is that considered an advanced technique?
Several reasons. It positions the server as an insider and expert. You might say, "Daniel, before we dive into the menu, could you tell us if the chef has anything particularly special tonight? Maybe a fresh fish delivery or something experimental."
So it signals a few things. You're adventurous, you trust their judgment,
and you appreciate that insider knowledge. It allows them to share something exciting. Maybe the chef got some amazing scallops, or there's a short-run dish. They usually enjoy sharing this, and it signals you're a diner who's really engaged with the food.
It builds that rapport further. Okay, rapport building, check. Now let's face the menu itself. Part 3, decoding the menu. The guide insists this is more than just a list.
Oh, much more, especially in higher-end places. These menus are persuasive documents. They're designed to evoke feelings, build a story around the ingredients, and, frankly, justify the price.
So understanding the language helps you understand the value proposition. Let's break down some key terms, starting with provenance and the quality of the source story. What up? Artisanal. We see that everywhere.
Artisanal implies much more than just handmade. It suggests care, tradition, small batch production, real skill involved. Think artisanal cheese versus, mass-produced slices. It signals a higher level of craft, and usually a higher cost reflecting that.
Okay, in terms like heritage or heirloom, usually for vegetables or maybe specific animal breeds.
Right. Heritage or heirloom signals older, traditional varieties. Things that existed before modern agriculture prioritized, say, shelf life over flavor. So an heirloom tomato is expected to have a deeper, more complex taste than a standard supermarket one. It suggests authenticity, maybe a better flavor profile.
What about the word provenance itself? It just means origin, but why highlight it? Beef with provenance from Yorkshire.
Highlighting provenance signals meticulous sourcing. It tells you the chef cares deeply about where ingredients come from. It implies freshness, quality control, maybe ethical standards. It's the core idea of farm-to-table transparency, suggesting quality.
And then there's foraged. Wild mushrooms, wild garlic.
Foraged immediately screams rarity, seasonality, and a lot of effort. Someone had to go out and find this stuff. It implies exclusivity, a unique connection to the local environment, and it definitely signals a premium price point because it's not farmed, it's found.
The language really does justify the cost before you even taste it. Okay, let's shift from sourcing to technique and innovation. What does deconstructed tell us about the chef's approach? Like a deconstructed cheesecake.
Deconstructed signals a modern, often experimental style. The chef has taken the familiar components, the biscuit base, the cream cheese filling, the fruit topping, and presented them separately on the plate. It invites you to experience those familiar flavors in a new way. It suggests playfulness and technical skill.
It shows confidence. What about sous vide? That French term seems common now.
Sous vide means under vacuum. It's a cooking technique using precisely temperature-controlled water baths. Highlighting it on the menu, especially for proteins like steak or fish, is a promise of precision and consistency.
Also,
It guarantees perfect edge-to-edge cooking, incredibly tender results, and maximum moisture retention. It tells you the kitchen is using advanced techniques to ensure quality.
so quality through science. Lastly, the verbs used. They never just say cooked. It's always more specific.
Exactly. The verb tells you how it was cooked, which predicts the texture and flavor. Pan-seared implies that lovely, crisp, brown crust from high heat.
Maillard reaction territory.
Precisely. Blanched, often used for vegetables, means a quick boil, then an ice bath. It promises bright color and retained crispness, not sogginess.
And cured, like cured salmon.
Cured means preserved, usually with salt, sugar, maybe smoke. It fundamentally changes the texture and concentrates the flavor. So yeah, reading the C1 menu involves understanding this whole narrative the chef is weaving about quality, sourcing, and skill.
Okay, that makes sense. Menu decoded. We're ready for part 4, the art of the advanced order and potentially the complaint. The guide calls ordering a polite interrogation.
Yes. It's not just barking an order, it's a conversation. You start softly. Instead of, I'll have the fish, maybe try. I was quite intrigued by the market fish today. Could you tell me a little more about how it's prepared?
Again, inviting them to share knowledge, continuing that rapport.
Exactly. And then, after they describe it, say, it's pan-seared cod with asparagus and a lemon butter sauce. The C1 move is to follow up with a question showing a more nuanced interest.
Demonstrating a sophisticated palate.
Right. You might drill down politely. That sounds lovely. Is the lemon butter sauce quite rich, or is it more of a light emulsion? Asking about richness, texture, balance. It shows you're thinking deeply about the dish. It elevates the conversation beyond just, what do you want to eat?
It makes you sound like you really appreciate food. Now, the tricky part. Special requests. Asking to substitute fries for salad, or getting sauce on the side. How do you do that without sounding difficult?
The absolute golden rule from the guide. Acknowledge the imposition. You must signal that you understand you're asking for something extra, something that deviates from their standard process.
So preface it with politeness.
Yes, and use specific phrasing. Don't just say, can I get salad instead of fries? Try. I was wondering, would it be too much of an imposition to substitute the fries for a side salad? That phrase, too much of an imposition, does a lot of work.
It shows you're aware it might be inconvenient.
Exactly. Or you could use those high-level softeners, almost exaggerated politeness. Would it be terribly difficult to perhaps get the sauce served on the side? Adding terribly difficult and perhaps softens the request significantly. It's like apologizing for even asking.
Yeah, definitely seems smoother. What about critical things like allergies? You need to be clear for safety, but maintain that C1 tone.
Safety comes first, absolutely, but frame it collaboratively. Position the server as your ally in ensuring safety.
Ow.
You could say, I should probably mention, just so the kitchen is aware, I have a serious allergy to nuts. Could you possibly advise me on which dishes would be the safest choices for me tonight?
Asking for their advice makes them part of the solution. It's not just a demand, it's a request for guidance.
Precisely. It ensures clarity without being confrontational. Okay, now. The moment we hope doesn't happen, but sometimes does. The graceful complaint. Something isn't right.
First step. No aggression.
Never. You start with those softeners again. Signal reluctance. Excuse me, I'm so sorry to trouble you, but... Or, excuse me, I hate to mention this, but it shows respect for their time.
And then, the complaint itself. The guide stresses using subjective language.
Critically important. Avoid objective statements of fact that sound like accusations. Instead of, this steak is tough, which blames the chef.
You say.
You frame it as your personal experience. I'm finding my steak perhaps a little on the tough side. Or, I'm finding this soup perhaps a little cooler than I expected.
Using, I'm finding perhaps a little, it shifts it from, you failed, to, my experience isn't quite right.
Exactly. It makes it much easier for them to fix without getting defensive. They can just say, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Let me get that sorted for you. What if the order is completely wrong? They bring chicken when you ordered fish.
Avoid blame again. Frame it as a mix-up.
Yes. Oh, excuse me. I think there might have been a slight misunderstanding. I actually ordered the fish, I believe. Polite, non-accusatory. It allows for a smooth correction.
That covers most issues. One last thing in this section. Controlling the pace. If courses are coming too fast.
The C1 diner politely takes control. You can say something like, everything is wonderful, thank you. We're actually in no rush at all this evening, so please feel free to pace the courses out for us whenever works for the kitchen. We're just enjoying the conversation.
Clear, polite, gives them permission to slow down. Excellent. Okay, meals progressing, food's great. Part 5. Advanced appreciation and wine strategy. Basic delicious isn't enough now.
No, C1 appreciation uses more specific, impactful words. For something really well-made, refined, beautifully balanced, you use exquisite.
That was an exquisite piece of fish. Or an exquisite balance of flavors.
Exactly. And if something truly blows you away near perfection, that's when you might deploy sublime. But use it sparingly. Honestly, that dessert was sublime. Its power comes from rarity.
What about praising the chef's skill directly, like a complex dish done perfectly?
The guide suggests triumph. This lamb shank is a genuine triumph. It acknowledges the difficulty and celebrates the achievement.
Nice. Let's get into specific flavor and texture words. For sharp, bright tastes, lemon vinegar.
You could use piquant or zesty, a wonderfully piquant dressing or lovely zesty notes in the sauce.
For deep, strong, complex flavors, like a rich stew or a bold red wine sauce.
Robust is the word, a really robust flavor profile there. It suggests depth and intensity.
And praising subtle elements, that shows real attention, right?
Definitely. Saying something like, there's a subtle smokiness to this, isn't there? It's very well judged. That shows a refined palate.
Okay, textures. Smooth, creamy, rich.
Velvety is perfect. A velvety smooth panna cotta. It implies luxuriousness.
And the tricky one, unctuous. Sounds negative, but it's often a compliment in food.
Yes. Unctuous describes a rich, luxurious, often slightly fatty or oily mouthfeel in a good way. Think perfect gravy, slow-cooked pork belly, rich bone marrow. It signals satisfying richness achieved through skill. You might say, the sauce had this wonderful unctuous quality.
Praising good fat. And for things that are incredibly light, airy. Foams, meringues.
You could even reach for ethereal, an ethereal lemon mousse. It suggests almost otherworldly lightness. Using these words signals you're engaging analytically.
Right. Now, the potentially intimidating bit, the wine list and the sommelier. The goal is collaboration, not a knowledge contest.
Absolutely. Show you know what you like, but be open to their expertise. For red wines, talk structure, body, and tannins.
So if I like big, powerful reds.
Ask for something full-bodied and robust. That signals you're okay with higher alcohol and noticeable tannins, that drying sensation.
And if I prefer lighter reds, like Pinot Noir.
Ask for something lighter on the palate with softer tannins. That guides them towards more elegant, less grippy wines.
What about key terms for white wines?
Often about flavor profile and texture. You could ask for crisp and zesty, perhaps with good minerality. Minerality implies those flinty, whetstone notes often found in unoaked whites.
And if I want something richer, maybe oaked.
Mention wanting a bit more complexity or a buttery texture. That points towards styles like oaked Chardonnay, often with malolactic fermentation notes.
Okay, using the right cues. Now the price. How do you indicate your budget without awkwardly saying, I want a bottle under 50 quid? The guide had a clever nonverbal trick.
Yes, this is pure C1 elegance. Scan a list, find a bottle in your general price ballpark, let's say 60 pounds. You subtly point to that bottle and ask the sommelier, could you tell me a little bit about this one?
And just pointing is the signal.
A good sommelier reads that instantly. They'll describe that 60-pound bottle, understand your likely budget, and subsequent suggestions will magically hover around that price point without anyone having to mention money explicitly.
That is smooth. Preserves everyone's dignity. Okay, finally, the tasting ritual. They pour a small amount. Why?
One reason only, to check for faults. Primarily, is the wine corked? Does it smell musty, like wet cardboard due to TCA contamination? Or is it oxidized or otherwise flawed?
So it's not for deciding if you personally like the taste?
Correct. You already chose the wine. This is just a quality control check.
So assuming it smells clean and tastes okay, what's the correct response?
A simple nod, maybe a small swirl and sniff, then that's lovely, thank you. That's the signal to pour for the table. No need for elaborate tasting notes.
Got it. Keep it simple. Okay, meal's done. Part 6. The final exit strategy. How do we signal for the bill politely?
Subtle cues first. Fold your napkin, maybe gather your things slightly, make eye contact, verbally, keep it polite and deferential.
Using those softeners again.
Yep. Excuse me, whenever you have a moment, we'd be ready to settle up. Using settle up is natural, and whenever you have a moment, respects their time.
Okay. Now, the payment dance. If one person is treating,
the host should state it clearly, allow me, or this one's on me.
And the person being treated, they have to protest a bit.
Social convention says yes, a mild protest. Oh, are you sure? Let's split it. It shows appreciation for the gesture.
Then the host insists.
No, really, I insist. My pleasure. And the crucial phrase to balance things out for the future.
The reciprocity line.
Exactly. The person treated says, well, thank you so much. You absolutely must let me get the next one. It keeps the social scales even.
What if we actually are splitting it?
Keep it simple and clear. Could we possibly split the bill evenly? Or, we'll pay separately, please.
Got it. Final hurdle. The tip or gratuity can be confusing. Need to read the bill carefully.
Absolutely. Look for key phrases. Service charge included means the tip is already added. Usually nothing more needed unless service was exceptional.
Okay. What if it says service is not included?
That's your cue. A tip is expected. In the US, for example, that's typically 15–20%.
And the slightly ambiguous one, discretionary service charge has been added.
Discretionary means optional. They've usually added it, maybe 12.5%, but you can ask for it to be removed.
But only do this if the service was genuinely poor. It's a strong statement.
Understood. Okay, bill paid. We don't just vanish, right?
No. Maintain that connection to the end. Make eye contact with your server, maybe the host or manager on the way out. Offer one last sincere, positive comment.
Thank you so much, Daniel. That was a really wonderful evening. Or simply, thanks again. Everything was lovely.
Ends the whole interaction, the social ballet, on a positive note.
Yeah.
Reinforces the relationship you built.
So yeah, that's the journey we've traced from this guide. From the basic A2B1 toolkit, just getting the transaction done, up to that C1 strategic performance.
And it really highlights the massive difference, doesn't it? It's about moving from just being a passive customer to actively shaping your experience through smart, sophisticated language use.
Exactly. Curating the space, building rapport, appreciating the food and drink on a deeper level, handling issues gracefully. It all comes down to strategic communication.
You shift from just being, someone spending money to being perceived as a valued guest, a collaborator almost.
Which really underscores the power of words when used thoughtfully. It's linguistic strategy in action.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, our listeners, to maybe chew on.
If, as we've seen in this C1 dining context, almost every word choice can be strategic, from the menu, using heritage, to you saying, I was hoping, or choosing umptious over just rich, if it's all potentially designed to persuade or position or achieve an outcome.
Now, then how does realizing this conscious, strategic layering of language in a place like a restaurant change how you look at other forms of communication? Persuasive writing, negotiations, even everyday conversations. Are you starting to see the strategy behind the words more often now, everywhere you look?
Definitely something to think about. Look for the hidden strategy.
Indeed. Well, thank you for walking us through that sophisticated world. Hopefully these insights make everyone's next meal out a little more strategic and certainly more enjoyable.
My pleasure. Thanks for tuning into this deep dive. Until next time.